Landlords are taking unprecedented measures to address the current rental crisis in Phoenix and across America. One such measure is emergency rent cuts, which several landlords have implemented to keep their properties occupied and maintain an income stream. As a real-life testament to this phenomenon, the investor who recently acquired a property in this area has just cut the rent on their listing by over 20%. This is because the number of vacant rentals in the area has skyrocketed out of control, causing landlords to take drastic action and reduce rents by substantial margins. While this is understandably good news for prospective tenants, the situation poses a significant concern for a large metropolitan area like Phoenix. Indeed, the housing crisis has led to a surge in evictions, causing widespread concern across the country. Despite mainstream media not reporting on these financial and real estate issues, the eviction crisis in America is still relatively unnoticed by the majority of Americans. However, closer inspection of the data reveals alarming trends, particularly for Maricopa County in Phoenix. In 2023, for instance, the county recorded an all-time high of evictions, which is a worrying signal that many people are struggling to keep up with the escalating costs of living in the area. Please take 2 seconds to help me out and hit the like and subscribe if you're enjoying the video so far. Each like and subscribe helps support this channel and keep us motivated to keep making you great content. Thank you. Now, back to what I was saying. When the pandemic first hit, the cost of renting an apartment in Phoenix skyrocketed by a whopping $400 per month. Can you believe that an average apartment, typically costing $1,200 per month, was rented out for $1,600? That's a significant increase in rent for an apartment, isn't it? But there is some good news. It has now come to our attention that renting an apartment has decreased by $100 per month. That's great news for everyone struggling to keep up with their high costs. However, despite the decrease in apartment rent prices, things are still expensive compared to a few years ago. Currently, the rent prices are still higher than they should be based on the income growth of the region, which is a concerning issue. These high rent prices are not sustainable and will lead to a wave of evictions if they continue. The looming possibility of eviction increases the burden on families who are struggling to make ends meet. They're already grappling with the economic upheaval brought on by the pandemic, and these high rents exacerbate their struggle. Evictions are not just happening in one place like Phoenix, but in many cities across America. For example, in Las Vegas and Texas, specifically in Dallas and Houston, evictions have significantly increased since the start of the pandemic. This trend can be seen in several markets throughout the Southeast, particularly in Florida. For instance, in Jacksonville, eviction rates have increased significantly, and in Miami, evictions are beginning to trend up. This shows that the fundamentals of the housing market matter, whether it's home prices or rent. The rise in evictions is a clear indication of the economic impact of the pandemic. As many people have lost their jobs, they're struggling to pay their rent and mortgages. The increase in evictions is causing instability in the housing market, which can have a ripple effect on the overall economy. If the prices of homes and rents climb much faster than the income levels experienced during the pandemic, this situation cannot be maintained in the long run. Something will inevitably give. We will soon witness a downward spiral in rent prices to align with income levels, which is already evident in Phoenix. These imbalances in housing prices and rents have far-reaching implications for the overall economy. When households are forced to spend a large chunk of their income on housing, they have less money to spend on the other necessities like food, healthcare, and education. The increased cost of living can lead to poverty for many families, especially those with a low income. Moreover, if the housing market is driven by speculation and investment rather than demand from people who want to buy or rent properties, it can lead to a housing bubble. When this bubble bursts, it can result in a financial crisis, like the subprime mortgage crisis in 2008, which had severe consequences for the global economy. Therefore, policymakers must keep an eye on housing prices and ensure they do not outpace income levels. This can be achieved through rent control, increasing affordable housing, and incentivizing developers to build more affordable homes. During the pandemic, investors flocked to Glendale and Phoenix, resulting in nearly 50% of home sales in 2021 and 2022 being acquired by investors. In today's market, these homes are being sold at a hefty price of $350,000, deemed too expensive for the neighborhood's inherent value and local income. The prices have escalated rapidly due to the increased demand caused by investors, leading to a stark mismatch between home prices and actual market value. A large investor community in the neighborhood has caused concerns among the local residents, whom the sudden price surge has negatively impacted. The prices in the area are solely driven by the demand generated by investors, which has resulted in unreasonable and unaffordable property rates. Ironically, now that the pandemic has subsided and the rental demand has dwindled, these investors are forced to cut their rent prices. The very investors who drove the prices upward now hear grumblings of discontent from tenants struggling with steep rent rates. You'll want to pay close attention if you're currently in the housing market, especially as an investor. In theory, with mortgage rates currently over 7%, more and more people are being locked out of the housing market. This means there should be an increased demand for rentals as it becomes increasingly difficult to afford a home like the one you're eyeing for $350,000. But here's the catch. Despite the theoretical increase in demand, we're actually seeing the opposite trend in reality. Much to the dismay of investors and property owners alike, rental rates are going down. This unexpected trend in the market can be concerning, but what's really driving this decline in rental prices? One possible factor is the current state of the economy. With many individuals and families feeling the strain of job losses, pay cuts, and financial insecurity, the demand for rentals may not be as high as expected. Additionally, there may be an oversupply of rental units in certain areas, which can contribute to lower prices. It's quite surprising to know that the investors have significantly reduced the rent on a particular property by a whopping 133%. This means that the rent on that property is now at a lower level compared to what it was about a year ago in 2023. However, even with such a substantial cut in the rent, home prices are still on the rise in some areas, with figures showing that they are at a higher price today than in 2022. This situation implies that the investors are experiencing very low returns and extremely low capitalization rates in their investments in this market today. Focusing specifically on Florida, the problem seems to be even more severe. The current situation in the market has caused investors to play it safe by cutting down on the rent, but even after doing this, they're not earning much return on their investments. The cost of living in Florida has recently caused a surge of people leaving the state. This increase in departures is a significant indication of an impending economic crash, particularly with the current worsening state of the economy. Nowadays, we receive news of another layoff from a major player in the economy, the music streaming service Spotify. Unfortunately, this company had to cut its workforce by 177%, joining other Arizona companies such as car selling platform Carvana and home selling app Opendoor, which have already experienced similar layoffs. These losses are slowly seeping into the economy, and we're seeing staggering numbers of individuals filing for unemployment claims, reaching levels not seen in 2 years. Currently, nearly 2 million people across America are claiming unemployment insurance regularly, painting a dire picture of the job market's current situation. While official statistics have not yet confirmed this, there are indications that we may see a downturn shortly, possibly in late 2024. One area where we can see the impact of a potential recession is using credit cards. In the United States, credit card debt has now surpassed $1 trillion. This is an astonishing figure, and seeing the rapid increase in credit card debt is worrying. One of the reasons for the rise in credit card debt is that people are struggling to make ends meet. The cost of rent, goods, and services increases while wages decrease. This means that many individuals are turning to credit cards to make ends meet. To make matters worse, the average savings rate in America is alarmingly low. As of October 2023, the average savings rate was just 3.7%. This is close to the lowest recorded level, suggesting that people are living paycheck to paycheck and cannot save for emergencies or future expenses. In the United States, an unusual phenomenon has been observed. The term in question is deflation. the polar opposite of inflation. This means that rather than prices rising, they're actually decreasing as seen in the falling rent prices. Furthermore, this deflation appears to be spreading throughout the U.S. economy as more warning signs continue to pop up. For example, the money supply is contracting, while the amount of bank deposits is also decreasing. This means that less money is available to pay for goods and services at current price levels. The implications of this trend could be significant for consumers and businesses alike. For instance, while it may initially seem desirable to have lower prices for goods and services, if this deflationary trend continues, it may result in a negative cycle where demand for goods and services decreases, leading to higher unemployment rates and further reductions in consumer spending. For our economy to have any chance of sustaining itself and experiencing long-term growth, something will have to give. Some people may think that advocating for deflation is akin to inviting an economic crash or depression. However, this is not the case. Deflation is the only way for our economy to grow and develop sustainably. The reason for this is simple. For our economy to truly flourish, we need to see prices and costs decrease significantly. This means that rent will decline, home prices will decrease, and commodity prices will also come down. This may seem daunting to some, but it is necessary to create an environment where our economy can thrive in the long run. Zillow, the popular online real estate database, has recently shown a perplexing trend in the rental listings market. On the one hand, numerous rental listings show a significant drop in rent prices, sometimes even less than 2 years ago. On the other hand, some landlords are unreasonably increasing their rent prices. Therefore, if you're a tenant and your lease renewal shows a rental increase or the same amount of rent, it is crucial to push back against such decisions and do your research. With the increasing number of better deals for renters, looking for a better option in the market might be worthwhile. This trend is not restricted to a single city or region, but rather prevalent in many different cities across different countries. Therefore, it's wise to keep looking for more affordable rental options and save yourself from high rental costs. With more and more renters taking advantage of these better deals, landlords will be forced to offer similar rent prices or risk losing potential tenants. So make sure you do your research and find a deal that suits you best. According to the latest data from Apartment List, a leading online rental marketplace, rents have decreased in 68 out of America's 100 largest metropolitan cities over the past year. This is an encouraging trend for renters, as it means that many cities across America are experiencing declining rental prices. In fact, more than 2/3 of America's rental market has been affected by this shift, leading to lower prices for apartments in many places. One striking example of this trend is the city of Phoenix, where the Apartment List reports rent prices have decreased by around 4 to 5% year over year. In fact, the prices are down by almost 10% from their peak. These lower prices represent a significant win for renters in Phoenix, though it's important to note that rent prices are still higher than they were before the onset of the pandemic. Austin, Texas may be a great option if you're currently looking for rental properties. Austin's rental market has been hit hard by current economic circumstances, resulting in a nearly 10% decrease in rental prices from its peak. This means you can find affordable rental properties in this vibrant and culturally rich city. But Austin isn't the only city with decreasing rental prices. Reno, Nevada, Orlando, and Jacksonville are also experiencing similar rental price drops. If you're looking for a rental home in Florida, you may want to explore the Panhandle, as rental prices are also decreasing there. The decline in rental prices is projected to continue for the next 4 years, as new construction of rental properties keeps flooding the market. So if you're searching for a rental property, now is a good time to act. Take advantage of these lower rental prices before they start climbing back up again. Did you know that almost 2 million housing units are currently being constructed or permitted for construction in the United States? More than half of these units are rental properties, and according to data, 2024 is expected to have the largest surge in apartment deliveries in the country in the last half-century. This increase in apartment supply comes at a challenging time for the U.S. economy. As we've witnessed, more and more people are being laid off from their jobs and running out of money. With these unfortunate circumstances, we'll probably continue to witness a decrease in rental prices in 2024. Without a doubt, this surge in apartment deliveries is worth keeping an eye on. It could mean lower rental costs for those looking for housing, but it could also suggest a potential oversupply of rental properties in certain areas. These factors will play a crucial role in shaping the real estate industry for years to come. Thanks for watching, and please make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed the video and leave a comment below letting me know if you're seeing landlords cutting rents in your market.